black man stereotype is basically you're loud, you talk over people. What you say is not necessarily important. It's more how loud you are and how you deliver your speech.
Hey, if anybody has watched ESPN, there are just times Stephen A. Smith is so loud, you just change the channel or you're no longer interested. And it's not that Stephen A. Smith is the sharpest person on the panel, because he's not. Stephen A. Smith is a character. Notice that he says, play angry black man. Now, you have to be charismatic in your own way to draw these ratings. You see a guy like Shannon Sharp, he's more country, southern, he's funny naturally. He doesn't really have to try as hard as a lot of people, honestly. And he's actually competent when it comes to sports. Stephen A. Smith is traditionally a journalist, but there are moments where I believe he just does a bit too much, especially with the whole Dallas Cowboys segment. I hate the whole cigar and cowboy hat. He tries to put on these different accents, and he tries to like overtalk everybody. I mean, sometimes it's just a bit much, but let's keep going.
He does that pretty well. I think the higher ups at ESPN and Disney, we see that. He's like this angry black man. He goes on Fox News probably like once a week, and he'll talk about like Gaza, and he has no idea about
Now, a lot of people are believing that Stephen A. Smith is positioning himself to run for a presidential election or to be some type of congressman. I believe Stephen A. Smith has a trick up his sleeve, man, because I've noticed with his show, his podcast, he's been very political. He tries to play like he's a leftist, like a Democrat, but he goes and insult the Democrat Party, the far left as he calls it, and he goes out here and plays the middleman the same way he does in sports, which is why I feel like this guy Ryan is like, dude, you don't really know exactly what you're talking about. You're just going on these news outlets to pretty much broadcast and promote yourself and just kind of have a voice out there so people recognize you. And I believe that Stephen A. Smith indeed has a plan post his analyst career. Real quickly though, this guy Ryan just says something about the higher ups at Disney and ESPN see this and they also label him this. But my thing is, if they just gave this guy $100 million plus contract, then it has to be working. They have to be welcoming this type of behavior, and they have to be condoning it because they're literally investing in it. So
about like his views on Gaza, and we're like, brother, you were just talking about the Lakers like 3 hours ago. Like, you know about Gaza. Stephen A. had been talking about LeBron's son for like a while. LeBron like confronted him at a game one time, and then ever since that, Stephen A's been on like 4 different podcasts, basically like, I thought it was a weak move, like coming up to me and whatnot. It's just this whole like embarrassing thing that we're all like rolling our eyes at. They just think he's crazy, just trying to create attention, which is his job, I guess. He gets paid a lot of money to do that. So.
And what I just touched bases on, Stephen A. Smith, I said at the time when LeBron James confronted him, Stephen A. Smith probably was smiling on the inside, rubbing his hands, because ever since then, he got more popular, he got more subscribers. He's been going on a media tour talking about it because he couldn't necessarily do what he wanted to do. Apparently that same day LeBron James confronted him, he got his ESPN contract. He didn't want to blow that, which he stated. But I do feel like Stephen A. Smith is a guy that will capitalize off of every single thing, every single moment. And I do believe that he's doing it for attention, because what he's done is created another controversy out of a controversy, right? Every time he says something, people are going to react. They're going to make videos about it because they want to get all they can out of this lemon.
To like create chaos,
Yep.
Create like controversy, like an argument. That's like his job.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Very much whoever's buying my shit, I will sell you my book. Which is like Fox News sometimes.
I'm not going to lie. This guy Ryan is spot on. He didn't tell too much of any lies here. Stephen A. Smith is a person that makes his money off of propaganda, obviously race baiting, playing the middleman. And you got to be careful about guys like Stephen A. Smith, which is why a lot of people in the media don't spare him. A lot of people at ESPN despise Stephen A. Smith. You guys saw the reports. of how they were beefing. They don't like Shannon Sharpe as much apparently, but I believe Stephen A. Smith is like the top guy at ESPN they don't like. Stephen A. Smith is just not a well-liked guy. I mean, you see people all the time, they turn on him, they wait on the moment to just criticize him. As soon as this thing happened with LeBron James, you saw everybody turn on him. The Draymond Greens of the world, people unfollowing him, is because they don't really rock with the way that Stephen A. Smith handles his business, man. At the end of the day, it's very it's kind of shisty. I'm curious to see with this guy Ryan though. Will Stephen A. Smith try to have some type of corrective actions, sanction upon this guy here? But I think that he's fed up. I think that he's telling the truth, because typically when I watch Stephen A. Smith on the news, I feel like these shows have to be better with this. Even in sports, like I'm real big on like things being specifically tailored to what your job is. Like when I see these athletes with these podcasts, I feel like it's a bit odd. Just like I see analysts who talk sports, but then like Stephen A. Smith to go cover politics. I don't know, man. I just feel like it's stretching yourself in too many different directions, and this is what will get you judged. It'll give you opportunity, but it'll also make you lose opportunity. But at the end of the day, man, Stephen A. Smith just got the extension, $100 million plus. So he's going to be there for a while. So curious to see how the next 5 years are going to go at ESPN. Stephen A. Smith is just smart. I mean, he put himself in a position where if you don't want to pay him, which he felt like ESPN was, he had been in talks with the contracts for a while. If you don't want to pay Stephen A. Smith, he developed in a different lane with politics that's going to give him just as much notoriety. You saw it with guys like Will Cain. When ESPN let Will Cain go, he started a career in politics and hasn't looked back since. So at the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith is smart for how he markets himself, no matter if he doesn't know what the he's talking about or not. I just feel like, hey, you got to get in where you fit in. And that's something that Stephen A. Smith has always been good at. So you guys let me know what y'all think about Ryan's take on Stephen A. Smith. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? You guys feel like he does too much when it comes to politics versus sports? Let me know in the comment section if you guys found any value to my video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. Thumbs up, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.